Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm making a new series where I'm going to just be talking about competitive tips in Fortnite, and if you guys like this series I'll do it in Apex as well. So here I got some gameplay in the background. Anyway, the first video is going to be based on roles. So I'm going to do it for trios just because it's easier to base it off trios. So anyway, how it works in trios, you have your IGL or Tarper, you have your Fragger, and you have your support player. Now, I'm going to break those down. So, your IGL slash Tarper, how they work is they're at the front of the tarp, they're tarping you in, and making sure you get to zone safely. This is more endgame. And then they will actually be really useful in early game and mid game because they'll be IGL and they'll tell you what to do and if we should push this fight or not. So with that, let's move on to the Fragger. So the Fragger is the person who gets loads of refreshes and kills in late game, and then you have your support player, who's the person who drops mats for the Tarper and helps fragging with the Fragger. So those are all three of the roles. Now let's go more in depth. So in early game, how they're going to work is you're going to have your IGL, which is the person who's going to basically say, oh, I'm landing here, you're landing there, you're landing there, to make sure everyone's organized so you have good positioning for when you go and take fights early game. Then after that you have your Fragger. Now your Fragger is going to be the person who lands at the most dominated house, maybe on the top of it, to get loads of loot, and they are just going to be getting the most kills early game. Then you got your support player. This is the person who's going to be back up. They're going to be behind, trying to pressure as much as possible so that your teammates can get the kill. Then once you've got that guy, that support player out at back, you want to make sure that they also carry a long range weapon. Like a sniper is really good in this situation just because you can use it at long range. Then mid game, how it's going to work is your Tarper or IGL player, whatever you want to call them, will be out rotating your team into zone. Now the reason this is for it is because they're the IGL. They're going to say we need to position ourselves here so we have a really good end game. Then after that you've got your Fragger, who will be looking for enemies, and they'll just be looking out at enemies. If they see anyone, they'll say, oh, team here, and they ask the IGL if they should push it. If they should, IGL will call out, yep, let's push this, we kind of need it, and they'll go for the kills. Now then you have your support player, who's going to play as a farmer. What this means is they're going to just keep on looting up, keep on getting mats to make sure that they get as many mats as possible, so that when the Fragger or Tarper needs mats, they can just give it to them. So you've heard for early game and mid game. Now late game is quite obvious, but if you guys don't know how it works, is you tarps out front, Fragger gets refreshes, and support player just helps out. Now if we're getting more in depth in this, we need to talk about how the Tarper is usually your IGL. We're not going to talk about the Tarper anymore. We're going to talk about the IGL. Now this IGL role is very important. They are going to try and control the fight as much as possible. When you're in a fight, they're going to say, come to me. We need to slow this fight down. If they push one of our walls, or if one of them does, then we can pinch them and kill them. Then you have your Fragger, who I already mentioned how they're going to work, but you also got to remember they need to be the person who's the most mechanically skilled. They need to be the best at piecing people up, really good mechanics as well as aim. But then you got your support player. This is the most in-depth we go. So with a support player, how it works is you're going to have your support player as a either a Tarper support, or you're going to go for a Fragger support Fragger. How this is going to work: support Fragger is going to help with getting kills, but they're going to be the clutch. They're going to be the person who you rely on to get that win. And then you have your support Tarper, who's going to cover tarp for them and drop mats. So it all depends on what roles you want to play, and it depends on the play styles. With your clutch, you kind of want them to have the best aim, Tarper, best builds and edits, and Fragger, a mix of them all. And yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.